Before Ed Sheeran became one of the biggest music stars on the planet, he was just a shy kid with messy red hair, a guitar, and a dream that almost nobody believed in. He slept on couches, played tiny shows for almost no money, and struggled for years before the world finally noticed him. Today, Ed Sheeran is a global superstar with billions of streams, sold-out stadium tours, and a net worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But behind the fame, the awards, and the success is a story most people don't know. From heartbreak and rejection to family, fame, and fortune. This is the untold story of Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran was born on February 17, 1991, in Halifax, England, before growing up in the small town of Framlingham. From a very young age, Ed was different. He was quiet, shy, and struggled with a speech problem as a child. But music quickly became his escape from reality. Inspired by artists like Eminem and Damien Rice, Ed started learning guitar and writing songs while he was still very young. While most kids his age were focused on school, Ed spent his time practicing music non-stop. He wasn't the coolest kid in school, and he didn't fit the typical image of a future superstar. But deep down, he believed music was his purpose, and that belief would eventually change his entire life. As a teenager, Ed moved to London to chase his dream of becoming a musician. But life there was far from glamorous. He played in tiny clubs, performed on the streets, and sometimes slept on friends' couches because he had nowhere else to go. At one point, he was performing hundreds of shows every year just to survive. Most people would have given up. But Ed kept going. He uploaded songs online, built a small fan base, and slowly started getting attention through social media and live performances. Then something unbelievable happened. After a performance in Los Angeles, famous actor and comedian Jamie Foxx noticed Ed's talent and invited him to stay at his house. That moment became a turning point in Ed Sheeran's career. For the first time, it felt like the world was finally starting to notice him. Everything changed when Ed released his breakthrough single, The A-Team. The song became a massive hit and introduced his emotional songwriting style to the world. Soon after, his debut album, Plus, exploded internationally. Suddenly, the same guy who once struggled to survive was performing in sold-out arenas. Then came even bigger hits. Thinking Out Loud, Photograph, Perfect, and of course, Shape of You, one of the most streamed songs in music history. Ed Sheeran became more than just a singer. He became a global phenomenon. He worked with artists like Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Beyoncé, and Eminem, proving he could dominate almost every genre of music. And with every new album, his popularity continued to grow. Today, Ed Sheeran's net worth is estimated to be between $250 and $300 million. Most of his fortune comes from world tours, music streaming, songwriting royalties, and business investments. In fact, his stadium tours became some of the highest-grossing tours ever recorded. Ed also owns multiple properties in England, including a huge private estate that fans jokingly call Sheeranville. But despite all the money and fame, Ed's lifestyle is surprisingly simple. He rarely wears expensive designer clothes. He avoids showing off luxury online, and he still acts like a normal person compared to many celebrities. That humble personality is one reason fans connect with him so deeply. While Ed Sheeran became one of the most famous musicians in the world, he kept his personal life incredibly private. His wife, Cherry Seaborn, was actually someone he knew from childhood. The two later reconnected as adults, and their relationship quickly became serious. Unlike many celebrity couples, Ed and Cherry stayed away from constant media attention. They secretly got married in a quiet ceremony surrounded by close friends and family. Together, they now have 2 daughters. Becoming a father changed Ed Sheeran's life completely. He began spending more time away from the spotlight and focused more on family than fame. And according to Ed himself, fatherhood gave him a new perspective on life, success, and happiness. Even though Ed Sheeran's career looks perfect from the outside, His journey hasn't been easy. Over the years, he faced multiple lawsuits accusing him of copying other songs. Some critics also claimed his music became too commercial as his fame grew bigger. But perhaps the hardest moments were personal. Ed struggled with pressure, anxiety, and the emotional weight of worldwide fame. One of the most painful losses came when his close friend Jamal Edwards passed away unexpectedly. The tragedy deeply affected Ed and pushed him into one of the darkest periods of his life. But through all the challenges, music remained his way of healing. What makes Ed Sheeran different from many modern artists is his authenticity. He doesn't rely on flashy performances or dramatic celebrity behavior. Sometimes it's just him, a guitar, and a loop pedal controlling an entire stadium crowd. His songs feel personal, emotional, and real. Fans connect to his music because they see themselves in his lyrics: love, heartbreak, loneliness, hope, and happiness. Even after becoming one of the richest musicians alive, Ed never completely lost the humble personality that made people love him in the first place. And that may be the real secret behind his success. From sleeping on couches to selling out stadiums around the world, Ed Sheeran's story is proof that talent alone isn't enough. It takes sacrifice, persistence, and the courage to keep going even when nobody believes in you. Today, millions of people know his songs, but very few truly understand the journey behind the music. And maybe that's why Ed Sheeran continues to inspire people across the world, not just as an artist, but as a person.